sludge from the steelworks that could burn off your skin with a single touch. It hadn't deterred some of her friends, though, who had come back with stories of fantastic finds, such as a complete dog skeleton wrapped in carpet, or a stack of dirty magazines under a bush. Now the rusty metal gates hung open, sagging on their hinges. The chain that held them closed was scarred silver where it had been cut open to allow access to the ambulance Kate could see parked on a patch of high ground. The process of filling in the huge hole in the ground had begun before she'd left, but she hadn't been expecting the final result. Instead of level, flat ground, the whole area was a mass of hummocks and small grassed-over mounds, the grass brown and patchy like the remnants of hair on a balding scalp. She abandoned the car at the gates and set off on foot, Hollis trailing in her wake, and stopped at the blue and white tape to flash her warrant card at the PCSO on guard duty. "How bad is it?" she asked. He shrugged.
"Didn't look. I don't think I could face her parents if I'd seen the body. I took their initial statements yesterday, and they were in bits. God knows what they'll be like today. The mother was trying to stay optimistic, but the stepdad looked like he was already expecting the worst."
"You're Rigby. You were at the house yesterday and had a look around." Kate had read his preliminary report and was surprised the young and inexperienced PCSO of her imagination turned out to be a man of about her own age. He stood smartly to attention, and she could see the bristles of a closely shaved head poking out from beneath his perfectly placed uniform cap. "Give me a ring," she said, handing him her card. "I'd like to have a chat about yesterday."
"Not much to tell. Me and Tatton responded to the call, did everything by the book," Rigby said. "Tatton's FLO trained, so she stayed with them. I ended up joining one of the search teams. I wish I'd bothered to have a look over here, though. Obvious place for a lost kiddie, really."
It was, Kate thought, really obvious. So why hadn't Search and Rescue found her yesterday? Or any of the police search teams? "All the same, I'd appreciate a chat," Kate said, heading through the gates. If this was the body of Aaliyah Reese, Kate wanted as much background as possible, and Rigby should be able to at least give her some impression of the parents. DCI Raymond was standing next to the forensics van, already clad in protective overalls and nitrile gloves. He was remonstrating with one of the technicians, and Kate could tell from his body language he was determined to make his point. As though sensing the presence of his junior officers, he swung around and caught her with the full force of his frown.
"About bloody time! What kept you? Christ, this is a fucking mess!"
"What's wrong?" Kate asked, reaching into the back of the van for a plastic packet containing overalls and booties. She checked the size, far too big for her, and passed it back to Hollis before turning and looking for something smaller. Raymond looked like he was about to burst out of his overalls. He was a big man, and with his huge frame tightly encased in white and his customary flushed complexion, he looked like a retired weightlifter who had quickly gone to seed. His eyes were widely spaced, giving him an innocent, almost childlike look. But the expression on his face was exactly the opposite.
"Him. That's what's wrong."
He pointed to the ambulance which had been parked about 30 yards away from the van, mindful of the crime scene. The back doors of the ambulance were open, and an elderly man sat on the step, a blanket around his shoulders and a Jack Russell Terrier curled up at his feet. The bottoms of his trousers and his shoes were wet, and he was trembling despite the warmth of the morning. He was staring at the ground, seemingly oblivious to the activity around him. "He didn't."
"Yes, he bloody did,"
Raymond confirmed.
"I thought everybody watched bloody Silent Witness or CSI these days. You don't mess with the body."
"He might have thought she was still alive. Have you spoken to him?" Kate asked.
"Don't trust myself," Raymond said. "I might want to wring his neck if I get anywhere near him."
She heard Hollis behind her stifle a snort of laughter at Raymond's outburst, trying to cover it with a cough. She didn't know the DCI very well, but her colleagues had given her a clear impression he was a man who liked the sound of his own voice and believed the louder it was, the more likely he was to get things done.